Get close, everybody, because here we continue on with a game called Never 7. Where were we? Let's see. Here we are. Could it be related to what you said yesterday? Let's see. Say it was a premonition one more time. You know what I noticed? Every time we try to open up with the premonition that we have, Yuka is either not here or is distracted. Like, for example, she's drunk right now, so she won't be able to see what happens clearly with the thingy that we are currently experiencing. So let's go for say it was a premonition one more time. Yeah, I don't really understand it myself, but it's probably what you're thinking. In other words,
Oi, Ishihara. まさかまた予知なんてバカなことを言い出すんじゃないだろうね。
hey, don't tell me you're going to start spewing bullshit about how it was a premonition again. Okiko beats me to the punch, instinctively leaving me at a loss for words.
この車の状態を見れば動きっこないって思うのは当然のことだよ。
Just by looking at this car's state, it's natural to think that there's no way this thing will move.
実際、僕も石原と同じことを考えていたし。
In fact, Ishihara and I were thinking the same thing.
泉さんにはちょっと失礼かもしれないけれど、この車あまりよく手入れされてないみたいだからね。
No offense, Izumi-san, but this car doesn't look like it has had maintenance in a long time. Okiko's words are like an intimidating air that leaves me with no room to object. It's just like yesterday. I think it's safer if I stay silent. However, Izumi doesn't seem to be buying it.
でも誠くんの場合はこの一件だけじゃなくて。
But in Makoto's case, this isn't the only time he's...
泉さんも、もうそんなことはどうでもいいんじゃないかな。
Come on, Izumi. Jeez, it doesn't matter, does it?
だけど。
But...
とにかく徒歩っていうのは確定したわけだし。
Anyway, it looks like we're walking.
早く行かないと釣りする時間がなくなってしまうかもしれないよ。
If we don't hurry up, we might not have any time to go fishing, right? For better or worse, Okiko manages to brush the topic off my premonitions aside, not believing in them. Now that he mentions it though, the only way to get to the harbor now is by walking. Hey Izumi. When Okiko isn't listening, I whisper to Izumi. I'll talk to you about it next time. Check my chance to leave her as she tries to search for a reply.
今度って。
Next time. Izumi says this in a way that makes it clear that she doesn't comprehend what's going on. Pretend not to hear her and quicken my pace. Besides, the one who doesn't understand the most is myself. Why did the words, "the battery's dead, isn't it?" come out of my mouth? Somehow I felt like it wasn't me who said it. I'm shrouded by an irritating and uncomfortable sensation. For a short while I walked through the tranquil rural landscape. The chirping of songbirds and the sight of green plants calming in contrast from my chaotic state of mind. Suddenly I realized that someone's trying to catch up with me. I don't even need to look over my shoulder to tell that it's Izumi. Everyone else had already passed me and are walking in front of me. So to avoid Izumi's questioning, I should... Wait, save. There you go. Wait, what? Wait, what? Load it again. Let's see, I should... Oh, okay. Kurumi and Saki? Yeah, why not? I run over to Kurumi and Saki, who are walking together and happily chatting. Kurumi's completely happy. Naturally, since I came in the middle of the conversation, I have no clue what Kurumi's talking about. I wouldn't normally butt into a conversation, or at least would be reluctant to, but I'd rather get everything else off my mind right now. So I tried bluntly asking Kurumi, happy about what? Just then, about us. Saki answers.
せっかく姉妹水入らずの生活をしてたのに、私たちが押しかけてきちゃって迷惑じゃないかって、そう聞いたの。
I asked her, aren't we imposing too much on you and your sister?
だから、くるみは全然嬉しいよって。
That's why Kurumi said she was completely happy. Wow, you're even good with that, drunkard. I briefly glanced at Yuka, who was walking in front of us.
くるみ、なんか優香さんとは特に気が合うみたい。
Yeah, for some reason, Kurumi gets along really well with Yuka. Well, it certainly did look that way.
それにね、くるみは春休みが始まってからずっとこっちにいるから。
And you know what? Kurumi has been here the whole time since spring break began.
さすがにお姉ちゃんと二人っきりでいるのもそろそろ飽きてきちゃってて。
So Kurumi was getting a little tired of just being alone with Ine-chan.
本当はね、昨日みんなが来る前までもう帰ろうかなーなんて思ってたの。
Can Kurumi be honest with you? Until you guys came yesterday, Kurumi just wanted to go home.
なんだ。だったら私に声かけてくれればよかったのに。
What if that's the case? Then you should have called out to me. I see. Now that she mentions it, Saki came here because of her February exam break.
って言っても昨日会ったばっかりなんだからしょうがないんだけどね。
Then again, we only did just meet yesterday, so I suppose that couldn't be helped. Saki smiles. Nevertheless, being here since February is a long time. Just what was Saki doing for 2 months all alone? Continue to think on this matter absent-mindedly. Finally, we arrive at the shopping district. Our destination is just past the fishing market dead ahead of us. There, Zumi gathers all of the necessary gear from the local fishing gear shop.
さあ行きましょうか。
Well then, shall we go? Zumi begins to take charge as she distributes the gear amongst us. Everyone immediately starts heading towards the harbor as they curious to play with their reels and hooks. As I'm about to take a step forward,
ちょっと
hold on. Zumi grabs my forearm.
さっきのこと後でゆっくり話しましょうね、誠くん。
About what happened earlier, we're going to have a long talk about it later, okay? Izumi leaves me with those words. Although her tone was kind, there was a piercing light in her pupils. It was a threatening gaze that instinctively leaves me unnerved.
ねえ、誠。
Hey Makoto. Several minutes later, someone else restrains my upper arm. Turn around and see... Crap, why her of all people? Hey, it would be nice if you catch a lot of tuna. With a strange shrill voice, I go to shake Yuka's hand off of me.
マグロ？
Tuna?
何それ？
What the hell are you saying? Yuka narrows her eyebrows. I notice that all traces of her previously flushed face have vanished. If anything, she just looks kind of pale. Seems as she's finally sobered up.
そんなことより、誠。
But more importantly, her grip around my arm grows tighter.
やっぱり釣りやめない？
Maybe we shouldn't go fishing after all. Why are you saying this now?
なんかこう嫌な予感がするのよ。
For some reason, I have a bad feeling about this.
とても嫌な予感が。
A very bad feeling. The hell are you saying? Weren't you the one saying I want to eat fish taro in the first place?
知ってるよ。知ってるけど。だけど。
I know that, I know, but... Are you going to say it's because I was drunk when I said that?
違うよ。そういうんじゃなくて。
No, that's not it at all. Well, either way, we're not going to change plans now just because you want to. Everyone else is quite pumped up for this. With my fishing rod, I point to the others who are far ahead of us.
でも。
But before she could say any more, Yuka stops herself from speaking. She hangs her head defeated. What kind of bad feeling is it anyway? I ask her this.
そんなのはっきりとは言えないよ。ただぼんやりとした不安感みたいなものがあるだけで。
I can't put it clearly into words, but it's vague, just a sense of anxiety. Anxiety.
例えば、そうだな。
For example, let's see.
誰かが積み上げた本の上に乗って棚の上の何かを取ろうとしている時とか。
It's like seeing someone standing up on a pile of books, trying to reach something off a high shelf.
そういう時ってすごく嫌な予感がするでしょ？
Wouldn't you feel anxious if you saw that happening? I get what you're trying to say, but fishing isn't something you can really compare to standing on a pile of books.
もう全然分かってないじゃない。
Geez, you don't get it at all. I get it. I really don't get it, but I think I can't think of anything else to say. I give her a nod while gently prying her hand off of me. I give her a light push which causes her to pick up her reluctant march to the arbor. The fragrant stench of the sullen tides overwhelm us. Those of us who are fishing have spread out on the pier. It's a rather peaceful scene. Yuka standing on the pier, twisting her fishing line around and round her finger. She still looks very anxious. A bad feeling, huh? Yuka, can I talk to you for a second?
Nani?
What? About what you said earlier. Was that a premonition? Yuka's expression warps. I'm about to continue speaking. Here we go again, something that can stop this conversation from happening. We suddenly hear the echo of Saki's voice. Yuka and I turn around. On top of the pier, we see Saki in the middle of shaking Haruka off. What? However, Haruka refuses to budge and tries to block a path. We can't hear what they're saying. However, I've never seen Haruka so angry before. Saki shakes her head in what appears to be astonishment as Haruka forces her to move back. Saki then runs to the tip of the pier. Okuyuka begins to run towards Haruka, who's as still as a statue. I wonder what's wrong. Yeah, let's go see. Then, just as we're about to run towards them. Oh crap, did she fall? Saki screams at the same time as the booming roar of a wave breaks out. What a monstrous wave, an unbelievably large wave, strikes the pier with a large sheet of water. As it strikes, the wave devours Saki and drags her into the ocean. I'm frozen in place. This incredibly sudden event has snatched away my sense of reality. So she's the first to die. It feels like I'm watching a scene from a movie. Just then, Izumi runs and dives into the ocean off at the tip of the pier. Izumi, that's suicide! I grab Yuka by the hand and we run towards the tip. By the time we reach it, Saki and Izumi are nowhere to be seen in the ocean. Okuyuka, Haruka, and Kurumi also come running over. Kurumi's face is completely drained of blood. Ow! Let's see. Pray for their safety. I mean, that would also... because if we dive in and save them, that would also be considered suicide. But if we pray for their safety, then that would count as doing nothing, which is not good. Oh well, the more the merrier, I guess. Dive in and save them. I'll dive into the ocean to save them. Even though I'm just gonna add to the body count. Oops. Focus on the raging sea. Makoto, you can't be thinking. You guys taking it back when she realized what I'm about to do. Don't, you might drown if you do that. Well, there wasn't a choice to call the Coast Guard or Lifeguard or anything. Then what the hell should we do? Are you saying we should just stay here and watch? But... why? Confused by our argument, Haruka asked this. Why? Why are you so desperate, Makoto? Because Saki and Izumi might die. Even so, you're not the one in danger, right? But we need to save them, you understand, right? I don't understand. Even if it might be useless, I feel the want to save them. That's just empathy. Empathy. Haruka lowers her head, pondering on this. Perhaps she really doesn't understand. Is she autistic or something? I'm about to dive into the ocean, but then someone grabs my arm. It's Kurumi. Believe in Onechan. She'll definitely be okay. Kurumi's eyes are brimming with tears. Kurumi, her suffering is far greater than mine right now. Izumi is her blood-related sister. Nevertheless, no. For this reason, Kurumi believes in Izumi. I understand. I'll trust Izumi as well. Once again, I look out the raging sea. That's why. You have to return safely, Izumi, Saki. The wave coils into a whirlpool. We're all silent, unmoving. It feels like if we even spoke or moved a little, everything would end. It's as if time itself is frozen. The wave begins to quietly pull back, Just then, Izumi and Saki's faces emerge. Suddenly, time seems to move again as everyone's anxiety is lifted.
お姉ちゃんさき
Izumi's the only one swimming, frantically moving her arms across the water. It seems Saki's unconscious. The giant wave surges forward, and Izumi rides it, washing up on the bank from Saki's body. The rest of us descend to the bank's edge to join them. Saki's face is completely pale. For some reason, her expression is strikingly beautiful. Perhaps because of that, none of us dare reach out our hands to them, our feet rooted to the ground. Finally, the soaking wet Izumi manages to firmly stand up. Since Okuhiko is closer to Saki, he carries her up to the bank.
ちょっと見てて人呼んでくるから
Look after her for a while. I'm going to get some help.
くるみも
Kurumi will too. Kurumi tells Izumi, I'm still standing frozen on the beach. It's not just me. Yuka and Haruka are the same.
さきちゃんさきちゃん
Okuhiko lays Saki down on the bank and slaps Saki's cheeks.
気がついた僕がわかる
Have you come to your senses? Do you know who I am? We frantically rush over towards them. Saki's eyes flutter open, and she blankly stares at Okuhiko. I hear the stir of many people approaching us. When I turn around, I see Izumi is leading them, with Kurumi behind her.
気がついたさきちゃん
Has Saki come to her senses? I nodded. Izumi falls to her knees. She lets out a sigh of relief. Kurumi desperately tries to stop her sister from collapsing. I look back at Saki, who is still firmly staring at Okuhiko. And there you go. We went to a clinic located just outside the shopping district. It only has one sick room. I said it's a stick room. With pieces of wallpaper peeled off here and there. The bed Saki is lying on has springs that creak every time she moves. Though she had no external wounds and was clearly cautious, the doctor examined her just to be safe. There weren't any particularly serious issues, but the doctor wants Saki to stay here, just in case. I mean, how else are we gonna get paid? Pay for to the rents? Rent's about due this month, so we need patients to pay for them, you know? It's just business. He said it'll only have to be for one night.
でもよかった一時はどうなることかと思った
But I'm glad. I didn't know what would happen there for a while.
人間ってなかなか死ねないものね。
Seems humans can die that easily after all. Lol. What's up with that? Sounds like you wanted to die.
別にそういうわけじゃないけど。
That's not what I meant at all. If that's the case, then you should be really happy about this.
だけど生きてることも日々偶然みたいなものだからね。
But the fact that I'm alive is also due to chance. You know, you shouldn't talk about these things that way.
ねえいいじゃないとにかく大事なかったんだから
It's fine, isn't it? Anyway, it's not that important. Well, that's true, but
そう誠くんが波に飲まれたわけでもないんだし。
that's right. It's not like you were swallowed by a wave. Hey, yo, little.
やめなさいよもう誠ったら
Makoto, please stop it.
石原非常識だな君はここをどこだと思ってるんだ
Ishihara, do you have no common sense? Where do you think we are now? Hey, I don't think I'm the only.
まあまあそのくらいにしてそれよりこれからどうするのずっとみんなさきちゃんについてることもなさそうだけど
Come on, that's enough. More importantly, what are we going to do now? It doesn't seem like we can all stay here with Saki the whole time. We don't need to. When I say that, Saki haughtily turns her head away. Geez, just what you'd expect from a spoiled rich girl.
とりあえずうちの店で落ち着かないさきちゃんの方はそうだくるみついててあげて
Anyway, why don't we head back to my shop to settle down? As for Saki, I know, Kurumi, stay with her.
くるみだけ
Huh? Just Kurumi?
たまには人の役に立ちなさいほらさきちゃんにはちゃんとピザを届けられなかったんだから罪滅ぼし
You need to be helpful to others every once in a while. Think of it as atonement for failing to deliver the pizza to Saki.
ああそんなのないよあれはくるみのせいじゃないのに
No fair, even though that wasn't Kurumi's fault.
お姉ちゃんの言うことを聞けないの？
You're not going to listen to your sister?
すぐそうやって分かったよもう
Why'd you have to put it that way? Kurumi gets it, jeez. As we leave for Luna Beach, Kurumi passes she stays in the sick room. Everyone seems to be at ease on the way back. I guess you could say that the tension in the atmosphere somehow unwinded. Everybody seems to be relieved that everything turned out alright. The fiery red sunset is also probably contributing to the calm, feel-good mood. However, I'm probably the only one still anxious. It's because of Yuka's words from before we arrived at the arbor. I have a bad feeling about this. She was right. Looking back on it, I regret that I didn't listen to what Yuka said at that time. As I walk down the road, I look over my shoulder. Right now, Yuka is happily smiling while engrossed in conversation with Izumi, who is walking by her side. A bad feeling, huh? My mind becomes foggy, as if enveloped in a thick mist. When we all return to Luna Beach, we casually relax on the open terrace and continue to chat. We mainly talk about what we were all thinking and doing when Saki was swallowed by that monstrous wave and praising Izumi for her heroic act of diving into the ocean and saving her. Izumi is unaware of all the compliments she's receiving since she's alone in the kitchen, using whatever food she has to prepare us dinner. I'm all ecstatic to eat her wonderful cooking again. In 10 years, it wouldn't surprise me if Izumi becomes a world-renowned chef. After dinner, we all go down to Moon Beach and sit down in a circle. We don't really have a reason for doing so. It's just that the moon is blue tonight.
ねえ泉さんあの岬の先端って何かあるんですか
Hey Izumi, what's on the tip of that cape? Yuka points towards the southeast to illustrate her question. Following her finger, I see a cliff protruding out into the ocean, where a white light is revolving above the tip.
ああ、あれ？
Ooh. Oh, that's...
あんなの誰がどう見たって東大に決まってるじゃないか。ねえ泉さん。
Anyone can tell it's obviously a lighthouse, right, Izumi?
決まってるかどうかはわからないけど、そう、確かにあれは灯台よ。
I wouldn't say whether it's obvious or not, but you're right. That is a lighthouse.
灯台の下には展望公園があって、あそこから見える景色といったら、そりゃもう最高なの。
Under the lighthouse is Viewpoint Park. It's said that the scenery from there is the greatest.
恋の岬で思いを告げて、愛の入り江で思いを遂げる。
Express your feelings on the cape of affection and carry out those feelings at the cove of love.
何ですかそれ
What's that?
この辺の古い言い伝えみたいなものよ。
It's an old tradition on this island.
あの灯台の下で好きな異性に告白すると恋が実るって言われてるの。
If a man and woman confess their feelings for each other under that lighthouse, it's said that their affection will bear fruit.
で、そこで恋を成就させた二人は近くの入り江、つまり姫ヶ浜に行って今度は愛を実らせるってわけ。
And then in order to complete their love, they go to the nearby cove. In other words, it's at Princess Beach where their love will bear fruit.
愛を実らせる
Their love will bear fruit?
そう、もともと姫ヶ浜の名前の由来は姫ごとをする浜っていうところにあるみたいで。
Right, originally Princess Beach, Himegahama, got its name from Himegoto wo Soruhama, the beach of secrets.
姫ごと
Secrets?
姫ごと。
Right, secrets. She says this, Zumi furiously blushes.
もう、はるかちゃん、そういうことは深く突っ込まないの。
Geez, Haruka, I can't go that far in depth. So, after confessing they fuck each other? Haruka tilts her head questioningly.
だけど泉さん、僕が地図を見た限りでは確かこの近くにもう一つ岬があったと思うんだけど。
But Izumi, from what I've seen of the map, I thought I saw another cave that's near here.
展望公園よりもっと西にある岬のことかな。
Huh? Yeah, are you talking about that cave that's a bit to the west from Viewpoint Park?
あ、そうそう、その岬のこと
Right, that's it.
でね、僕はなんとなく思ったんだけれど、恋の岬でっていうのは、あるいはもしかするとそっちの岬のことを指してるんじゃないのかな。
And you know what? I was thinking that if there's a cave of affection, then perhaps there's something special about that one as well. Huh? Why do you think that?
いやね、地図にはさ、その岬の先端に鳥居のマークが書かれているんだよ。
You don't know? On the map is a marker of a shrine's archway on the tip of that cove.
つまりさ、そこには神社があるってこと。そうでしょ、泉さん。
In other words, there's a shrine there. Isn't that right, Izumi?
うん。
Yeah. It's just me, or does Izumi sound very uneasy?
僕はむしろ灯台の下よりも神社の前で告白した方がよっぽどご利益があるように思えるけどな。
I was thinking that if you confess in front of the shrine instead of under the lighthouse, it'd be as though you were receiving great divine blessings. I see. Everyone's eyes all turned towards Izumi. Is that true? You all wait for that answer. Soon enough.
ううん。
No. Izumi shakes her head and continues.
そんなことは絶対にありえないのよ。
Something like that is absolutely impossible.
だってあの神社は
Because you see,
あの神社はね、地元の人でも決して寄りつくことのない曰く付きの場所なんだから。
the truth is, it's a place with a dark history that even the locals will approach. The truth is, it's a place with a dark history that not even the locals will approach. Oh, I see, I get it. So the other lighthouse is probably, the shrine with the dark history is the one that's causing the time loop or whatever. Time loop? No, the premonition. And then Izumi, lit by the pale moonlight, begins telling a story in a slow, quiet voice.
あそこ正式な名前を四季の森神社って言うんだけど、一説によると昔は死ぬ鬼の森と書いて四季の森と呼んでいたっていう噂もあるの。
That shrine, its official name is the Shiki no Mori Shrine, but they say long ago it was known as the Grove of Demons, written as Shiki no Mori.
つまりあの神社はその四季の神を崇め奉るために建てられたのだと、そういうことみたい。
In other words, that shrine was built to worship the god of demons, or so they say. Izumi continues to explain while writing the two different ways of writing Shiki no Mori in the sand. That thing and that thing.
四季の神というのは文字通り死を司る鬼神の意味で、人々を呪い殺したりたたったりする凶暴な邪神のこと。
This means the god of demons was literally the fierce god who rules over death, which is a mouthful. That's why they decided to change that. He was a brutal, evil god that would curse and kill people.
彼らの話によると、
According to this story,
昔の人たちは奇病が流行ったり天災に見舞われるのは四季の神の怒りに触れたからだと固く信じていたようで、その怒りを鎮めるために生贄まで捧げた。
back then, people thought that epidemics and disasters were caused by the anger of the demon god, so they would offer living sacrifices in order to appease him. And that's right next to the place where you confess your love? Jesus.
という昔話も残されているんだって。
Or so the legend says.
でもまあ、所詮昔話は昔話。桃太郎は桃太郎でしょ。
But you know, a legend is a legend. After all, just like the headless horseman is the headless horseman, right?
だから私もそんなものはただの作り話だろう、伝説の類だろうなんて最初はそう思ってた。
Of course, I also dismiss it as just a myth or folklore. Used to, anyway.
だけど
But then...
なんだ、みんなこんなとこにいたのか。
What? So this is where you all were. We all turned to find a girl running towards us, kicking up white clouds of sand as she moves across the beach.
くるみ、
さきさんがね、 もう帰っても大丈夫だからって。そう言うから。
Saki said I'll be fine, so go home already, so Kurumi came back. Phew. She lets out a giant sigh and catches her breath.
ねえ、それより何の話してたの？こんなとこで。みんなで丸くなっちゃったりして。
Hey, what were you talking about just now? Why are you all sitting in a circle down here?
もしかして UFO を呼ぶ儀式かなんかかな？
Could it be that you're performing a UFO summoning ritual? Hey, not bad.
惜しい。 UFO じゃなくって幽霊の話。
Not quite. It's not UFOs, but it is a ghost story. It's not a ghost story, it's a demon story. Weren't you listening at all?
聞いてるよ。幽霊も鬼もそう大して変わりないじゃない。
I was listening. Ghosts, demons, what's the difference anyway? They're completely different in my opinion. Yeah, they are.
で、その鬼がどうしたの？
And what about those demons?
この近くにね、その鬼が住んでるお寺があるんだって。
Those demons lived in a nearby temple. It's not a temple, it's a shrine. Whoever said they lived here anyway?
へえ、神社か。
Wow, a shrine, huh?
それで今泉さんからその神社にまつわる噂話を聞いてたところなの。
Izumi was telling us a rumor about that shrine just now. Kurumi, you've never heard of that shrine before?
今初めて聞いた。
Nope. First time Kurumi's ever heard of it.
じゃあちょうどよかったね。
Well then, isn't that exciting? Seems Kurumi loves these kinds of stories as her eyes light up as she sits down on the sandy beach.
さあ、泉さん、続きをどうぞ。
Well then, Izumi, will you continue? Yeah. However, for some reason, Izumi doesn't speak. She hangs her head down quietly, just staring firmly at some spot on the beach.
泉さん？
Upon hearing Yuka's coaxing voice, Izumi finally breaks out of her stupor and slowly raises her head.
どこまで話したっけ？
Where was I?
泉さんも最初は作り話だろうと思ってたってそこまで。
You were up to the part where you initially thought it was nothing more than a myth.
そっか。そう。私も最初に話を聞いた時には疑ってたの。だけどね。
I see. Yeah, that's right. When I first heard that story, I was also doubtful. But then...
だけど、それから地元の漁師さんとか農家のおばあちゃんとかいろいろな人から話を聞くうちに。
But then I heard more from the local fisherman, the old farmer lady, and several other people.
ただの作り話じゃ済まされないような事件が現実にあの神社で発生していることが分かってきて。
I couldn't dismiss it as simple myth anymore when I learned that in reality, several incidents had occurred at that shrine.
みんなは神隠しって知ってるかな？
Everyone, do you know what it means to be spirited away?
神隠し？
Spirited away.
何の前触れもなく人が忽然と姿を消すこと。
It's when a person suddenly disappears without warning.
そう。今では蒸発とか失踪とかって呼ばれてるけど。
Right, nowadays it's called a disappearance or an absconding.
実はその神隠しがね、あの神社では起こるらしいのよ。
Truth is, something like spiriting away happened at that shrine.
簡単に言ってしまうと、あの神社に出かけて行って戻ってこなかった人が何人も、何十人もいるっていうこと。
Putting it simply, several dozens of people traveled to that shrine over time and never came back.
まさかそんなこと。
That's impossible.
あるの。現実にあったの。
It isn't. It really happened.
地元の新聞だけでなく、全国紙にまで掲載されているんだから、その事件のことが何度も何度も。
Not only was it published in local papers, but also announced on national news. Still, countless disappearances have happened over time, again and again.
これは私が島の役場まで行って実際に自分の目で確かめてきたことだから、 絶対に確かなのよ。
I even confirmed this information with the records of the island's town hall.
島の人たちはその一連の神隠し事件のことを四季の神のたたりだとか、四季の神が地獄に引きずり込んだのだとか、そんな風に言ってる。
The people on this island say that this series of spiriting away incidents were from the people being cursed or dragged to hell by the god of demons.
さすがに私も四季の神がどうこうってところまでは信じられないけれど。
Of course, I don't quite share the same beliefs.
まあとにかくそのことがあって以来、あの神社、四季の森神社には誰も近寄らなくなってしまったというわけ。
Even so, ever since that, no one goes near the Shikinomori Shrine no anymore. Even so, ever since that, no one goes near the Shikinomori Shrine anymore. The cold night's wind stirs the beach's sands. Every few seconds, the lighthouse's revolving beacon passes through the deep blue darkness. The perpetual continuous sound of the waves still echoes solemnly.
ねえみんな、
Hey guys,
これからミステリーツアー行かない？
after this, do you want to go on a mystery tour? Uh-oh. Kurumi's sudden question breaks the silence. Mystery tour?
その問題の四季の森神社とかいうところに行ってみて、噂が本当かどうか確かめてみるの。
Yep, Kurumi wants to go check out that so-called Shikinomori Shrine and see if the rumors are true or not. I mean, there's records of it. So yeah, it is true. It has a physical hard copy in the town hall. So why don't we just check that out?
ね、なんだか面白そうでしょ？
Well, sounds kind of fun, doesn't it? Just then,
ダメよ、絶対にダメ。
no way, absolutely not. Izumi admonishes Kurumi with an unusually serious expression.
なんで？
Why not?
なんでも
Why not?
いい、くるみ。今私が言ったことは冗談なんかじゃないのよ。わかってるの？
Weren't you listening, Kurumi? The story I told just now wasn't a joke. Do you understand that?
わかってるよ。だけど、遠くから眺めるくらいなら。
Kurumi understands, but if we only look at it from a distance, then...
ほら、わかってない。全然わかってないじゃない。
See, you don't understand. You don't understand at all.
だって。
But...
だってじゃないの。とにかくダメなもんはダメ。
No buts. No means no.
いい？わかった？
Alright, do you understand? Honestly speaking, there's no reason behind Izumi being so upset. Regardless, as an outsider, her words have such a threatening, coercive feeling to them that is so terrified that it makes me tremble with fear. Is the Shikinomori Shrine really that dangerous? It's a bit hard for me to understand.
それじゃあ、泉さん、泉さん、おやすみなさい。
Well, I have to edit here, fellas, because I have to prepare for work now. God, this fucking visual novel is so immersive, man. So this is Never 7, The End of Infinity. If you want to try the game for yourselves, the links are in the description. That is all for today. Stay safe and take care of yourselves.